everyone, this is Sasha bringing you a video tutorial today from BP for You. And today I am in Photoshop Elements 10 and I'm going to be talking about the filters. So if we go up here, we can see our filter gallery. And if we click on this button, it will bring up our whole filter gallery except for just a few. So we can click on these and we can get an idea of what our photo would look like if we used a Photoshop Elements filter on it. And so we've got our artistic filters here. We've got our brushstroke filters here. And these would be really great to add to a photo and to add a layer mask and to just keep them on the background but take them off of the subject for a nice texture as an idea. We have some distorting filters. We have some sketches. You can kind of see how they look. We have some stylized filters. And we have our texture filters. The stained glass, some patchwork, some grain, and so on. Before you would want to apply a filter, you would definitely want to duplicate your background layer, and you do that by taking the background layer and dropping it over top of this new layer button. Some of the other filters that are not covered in the filter gallery, we have the blur here, where we can add a different kind of a blur to our picture. Now, in Photoshop Elements, if a filter has 3 dots after it, that means that you can change some of the settings and you can customize those to tailor to your photo. If it does not have 3 dots after it, you cannot customize the settings. It is already built into the filter how it is supposed to look, and there's nothing that you can do to change that. So let's go ahead and add a Gaussian blur so that you can get an idea of how we can do this. Now this one is set up to 250 pixels, but more realistically we would probably use it somewhere between 1 and 10. So you can see that that adds a nice blur. You could use this for your background or for smoothing skin, all kinds of different reasons why you may need to use a filter. So then we have some adjustments up here as well as down here. We have our noise reduction up here. So under noise we have add noise, despeckle, dust and scratches, median, and reduce noise. All of them do something a little bit differently. Then we have the Pixelate here where we can add different kinds of filters over top of it. So let's go ahead and we can add one to see what that does. And you can see that this one is a mosaic, like a mosaic tile. Not something that I would typically use in my everyday workflow, but down below we have render. Now these different filters here are used for kind of lighting effects. This one you can use to make clouds with. Let's go ahead and use the lens flare. We can go ahead and we can pull this around and we can move the lens flare to where we want it in our photo. You can control the brightness with this slider. You can control the type of lens flare with these options here. And when you are satisfied with it and you really like the way that it looks, you can press OK. And of course here on our duplicated background layer we could control the opacity, we could change the blend mode, whatever we saw fit for that. Again, we have some more filters here. Our sketches we saw up in our filter gallery, as well as our stylized and our texture. The video filters we don't need to worry about. Under other, the one that you will use the most commonly is called high pass. Now you can see when we click on that, this box comes up and it makes our picture look crazy, but don't get too excited because we are going to fix that. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this down because I don't want mine to be too strong. So I'm going to keep it around 5 pixels. It's at 4.9. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to change my blending mode to soft light. Now I have added a nice sharpening to my photo using this high pass filter, as you can see. And again, I could control my opacity. I could lower the opacity or I could leave it where it was at. And so there is another example of how you could use the blending modes to assist you, as well as the opacity and the filters. So everything really ties into itself. So thank you so much for watching this video tutorial. I hope that you learned something new about filters and you will give them a try in your editing. Happy editing, everyone!